told to evacuate.
It is not, Liz. Let me just tell you first, before I get to the Stockade District, I can tell you, at least right here on State and Erie and Schenectady, things are rapidly improving. In fact, there were barricades that were set up this morning, keeping people away from the Mohawk, which is about 6 blocks down that way. Those have since been removed. Now, you were just speaking of the Stockade District. We went out there this morning. We got you some video. Let's go to that right now. You can see for yourself what residents are dealing with there. Residents are standing by. They are watching the river crest, which is, as you said, Liz, expected to happen in just a short time. In some cases, that river has flooded yards. It's reached some people's walk-up steps. A couple of neighbors and residents told me that it has flooded the first floor of their homes. As we all know, that's an area that is prone to flooding, but never anything like this. This, as they say, is a major event. This is more than they've ever experienced before. Many, however, are breathing a sigh of relief that the predictions of the water reaching those historic levels have not yet come true. A little flooding problem today, Pete.
Well, just a wee bit.
What did you think when you saw a car and a shed floating by?
Crazy. I'm really concerned. You know, I have animals, live by myself, and it's really scary.
This is unusual. I'd put it at a 10 on 10. I have lived here, 44 years. I currently live in Saratoga, but my parents are still here, and this is the worst flood that they've ever had.
Now, that woman, Claire, that you just heard from, she was in a canoe with her relatives. They said that the preparations they made late last week really made all the difference for them. They were able to secure up their homes to ensure that nothing of value was damaged. She said they're now just going to wait for the river to crest, the waters to recede, and in the meantime, they're going to enjoy a little sunshine because it certainly is a beautiful day today. And joining me back out here live, I just want to let you know, we have heard from Congressman Paul Tonko's office. He is expected to be in this Stockade District of Schenectady this afternoon between 2 and 2:30. He's going to be surveying the damage there. I want to mention at this point the river has not reached Front Street, and again, it has not come up to State and Erie as many people were predicting earlier today. That's the latest from Schenectady. For now, I'm live. Teresa Priolo, CBS 6 News.
All right, and certainly if anything changes there, we'll go right back to Teresa for the very latest. The news is a little better in Schoharie County today, a little bit better than yesterday. Certainly all towns there were ordered evacuated yesterday over concerns about the Gilboa Dam. But this noontime, the record high water level has begun to recede, and a preliminary inspection is showing no signs of any structural damage. We're continuing to keep an eye on things in that area. We'll bring you updates both on air and online as they become available. In Troy, they're dealing with a landslide that happened on Route 2 just east of the intersection with Route 66. Part of the embankment behind Highland Street fell around 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, smashing a garage and pushing 2 other buildings off their foundations.
The house just started shaking, the walls started cracking, the windows started tilting, they didn't bust or anything, and the floor started to slide forward.
Several residents in that area were evacuated and told if they didn't leave, they would be arrested. Emergency crews are still at the scene. Irene has also been a deadly storm for the region in the town of New Scotland, where a woman did die when she was swept away by the raging waters of the Enniscathaw Creek. That happened shortly after noon yesterday as she was looking at the overflowing creek that runs right past her home on Slingerlands Avenue. The woman's body has been recovered, and she has just been identified as 68-year-old Sharon Stein. Her husband Jeffrey reported her missing yesterday. She was later spotted in the water by a passerby. Governor Cuomo was back in the Mohawk Valley this morning, taking a helicopter tour of the raging waters of the Schoharie Creek and the Mohawk River. All this happening as reports of water rescues continued in that area. The governor conducted these aerial assessments of this hard-hit area with Major General Patrick Murphy. He's the Adjutant General of New York. You can see the level of damage, the level of the water as it completely engulfs factories and approaches roadways on bridges. And just minutes ago, Cuomo began another aerial survey of upstate New York with the Federal Emergency Management Agency, obviously looking for some federal help to pay for the damage, which is expected to be in the billions. Irene is blamed for at least 20 deaths along the East Coast, and millions are still in the dark, and property damage is topping $7 billion. And Duarte Geraldino has the latest in Long Beach, New York.
Rescue crews are checking flooded homes in Pompton Lakes, New Jersey. With water everywhere, a house burned out of control because fire trucks have no way of responding. Rutland, Vermont is also underwater this morning after Irene caused some of the worst flooding the state has seen in decades.
Oh my God.
Raging water toppled this 140-year-old covered bridge.
Flooding like I've never seen. High, fast, way over the banks.
Torrential rains from Irene sent water gushing through the town of Windham in upstate New York. Emergency crews raced to rescue residents.
And we all of a sudden got all this water.
Power outages are a major concern in the wake of Irene. Crews are working around the clock, but it will take days to get the lights back on for many. Here in Long Beach, business owners will start removing boards from their storefronts today. Many have no idea how much damage they'll find inside. This Long Beach resident returned to find his refrigerator on its side after his basement apartment was flooded.
Everything was pretty much floating. Whatever I had on cinder blocks in the bedroom toppled off.
New York's subway is running again as the nation's largest city returns to normal. Mayor Bloomberg ordered massive evacuations and closures to get ready for Irene. And some are now saying he went too far.
We were just unwilling to risk the life of a single New Yorker. The bottom line is we'd make the same decisions again without hesitation.
At the airport, travel schedules are in shreds. About 9,000 flights were canceled before Irene arrived, and now the work begins to rebook hundreds of thousands of passengers. Duarte Geraldino for CBS News, Long Beach, New York.
The silver lining in all of this is that we're shaping up for a pretty nice week of weather here in the capital region, and it's a pretty nice day out there today. And obviously there's good news in that on many fronts, because it also gives people who have to clean up a chance to do it in good conditions. Here's meteorologist Chris Gloninger with first weather. Chris?
Liz, that's right. Before we touch on the forecast, I want to show you two big developments. Now they're forecasting major flooding again. The Mohawk River in Schenectady at 226 feet, and they're expecting a crest above that. They're expecting Ingersoll, also North Avenue and Ferry Street to flood. The other river that they've also upped a little bit is the Hudson River in Troy. They're also expecting major flooding there as well. And at this level, they expect water to reach homes in the village of Waterford and also riverfront sections of Troy. So that is a pretty big development over the last couple of hours. It is cool and nice for the cleanup this afternoon. 75. We're down to 67 at 8 o'clock, heading down to a low temperature of 52 degrees. Your 7-day forecast coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thanks very much, Chris. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back with more storm aftermath coverage right after this.